Hey, this is David with No Chaser, and I'm just letting you know that some of the upcoming videos are going to be a little bit more mental health related. Mental health is definitely a part of addiction and alcoholism. I mean, the co-occurring disorders is pretty high. You see a lot of mental illness with drug and alcoholism, and today, I think I want to touch on a little bit both. So today I want to talk about one of the big drivers of use, of relapse, of just general drivers of destruction in your life. Just something that gets you to take an addictive or risky behavior, and that is apathy. In the recovery community, it's known a lot as having a case of the fuck it's, where you get into a place where it can be momentarily, but as simple as it can be said, you don't need any like fancy $10 words for this, but you just say, fuck it, man. And you can look back on when you said fuck it, and you could be like, why did I throw away what I was doing, my responsibilities? But those things build up in you. It's really difficult to quantify how that apathy plays in your life, because when you can be in certain modes, and everybody has these types of modes where after lunch you've just eaten a big lunch and you're at work and you're just kind of tired and your mind's in kind of that state where it's not as alert, and you're just not quite as fully mentally, emotionally, and spiritually awake per se. But that's not the same thing. The apathy that I'm talking about is it's actually on a higher level of your thinking. It's on almost an existential level, maybe not too far, but in a way it's something where your mind is very active, and it is seeing the things in your life and just saying, so what? And for me, because this is very healthy for a person who's prone to depression, is I look a lot into philosophy, especially nihilism, and a lot of categories that a person prone to depression shouldn't look into or read heavy upon, but I do. And I look at stuff like this, and it's easy just to be like, what is the point of any of this? What is the meaning of all this bullshit? I go about my life, and I had these plans for things I wanted to do, and then some of the plans I had, I actually didn't think would be as good as they would be, so I quit. Or some of the ones I achieved and I didn't like as much, or some things I'm just not able to achieve. I have dreams that I want, but they're tamped down by all the responsibilities I have in my life, whether it's family or kids or just keeping a job or just paycheck to paycheck, just all that stuff. Whatever. My point being is, you don't have to be a philosophy major to understand the empty, brutal nature of life when it comes to meaning and searching out meaning. You can blame capitalism, you can blame the environment you're in, you can blame it all. That's, for the most part, that's kind of irrelevant when you're thinking about yourself. And that apathy is so dangerous to alcoholics and addicts, because that apathy brings us to things that actually destroy ourselves. So when other people kind of get into moods where they just, they don't really care as much as they did, and they lose kind of interest in things that they have, and that can bring them into a funk. The difference with alcoholics and addicts is that when we get into a funk and then we relapse, it's not just a funk, it's a full-on fucking destructive path of just apocalypse. Just, you're at a point where either you've gotten back into the shit where you've been temporarily sober for a little bit, or you've been sober for a while and now you're heavy into it. And as any alcoholic and addict knows, when you relapse, you pick up right where you left off. And so the case of the fuck-its, or that apathy that you feel, it's especially dangerous. And it's hard to combat it, because the whole thing is that you don't care for things the way that you feel you should. And so what are you going to do to try to redirect that course? Just force yourself to care for things? Just go, no, I need to care about these things. And I will take a moment to acknowledge that I may be at a more of a disadvantage towards this, because I don't really have any spiritual inclination towards anything. You know, I grew up Catholic. You know, it's funny. A lot of people almost say they grew up Catholic in the same way they say I'm an alcoholic. Hey, I'm David. I'm a recovering Catholic. But I'll be honest with you. You know, in my personal experience, I never was mad at God. I never anything God. I was completely indifferent. There was just always a hole there that I never really felt, and it was nothing based on what I saw in my life or what I perceived life to be. It was just an intangible hole that was there, and I tried. I envy people, and I don't mean to say this in a condescending way. I envy people who have a strong faith, and I know from friends of mine that are in recovery, and I know like other people that have been through this type of stuff, that faith can restore your apathy pretty greatly. I mean, if you have some sort of faith in your life, I would like fully suggest, regardless of what type of faith it is, to plunge yourself into that in those moments of apathy to find that. Now, some people, they don't quite find it that way. And there's a way that you try to find spirituality in this agnostic way with meditation. But sometimes meditation just seems a little bit too detached and cerebral. You know, you talk about things, concepts of how you you get rid of the individual, you get rid of the self. And, you know, that's all fine and dandy when you're like in those moments of trying to explore yourself. But let's be honest, for the most part, when you're going about your daily life, your one-track mind is on, you know, things you're doing at work, things you're doing with your kids, things you're doing like for the next just little dopamine rush, like whatever you can do. And it's hard to stick with that. I would love to be able to pull over in one of those days where I wanted to fucking kill myself and just pull over and say a prayer to God. And I have done that, and I've tried that, and it's just empty for me. So when I fail a lot at that apathy starts to seep in, starts to creak in, and it's the ultimate trump card because it makes things unimportant. And when things become unimportant, why not fuck it up? Why not go the hedonistic route, and why not just be like, you know, who cares if I screw this up? I'm at this job, I've been at this job for a while, but I don't care about it. I have no attachment or like emotional like weight to this job. I mean, they've paid me and they gave me health benefits. That's it. Or I've been doing fine with raising the kids and being in this family. But you know what? All the parents talk about how magical the experience of raising a kid is, and I just don't quite feel that. What the fuck is wrong with me? Or I love this person, I care about this person, but I don't care about them because I don't care about myself. And what do I do? What the fuck is wrong with me? You know, it is when apathy comes in, there's at least in my case, there's this self-judgment that goes, how could you be how could you be so ungrateful? How could you not like care about these things? Like, do you know how blessed you are? And that doesn't matter. That logic doesn't matter when you start to feel that depressive apathy. It really doesn't. You can't try to shame your way into thinking better about yourself. Like you can't shame your way into feeling more blessed. So what do? I'll be honest with you, you know, a lot of this that I do on these videos are just, I hope I'm expressing thoughts that other people have, because I'm fighting that myself right now. And I don't, you know, I'm trying to be more in touch with people. You know, being around people at least helps the thoughts go down, or being in the moment with people helps me not, you know, I care in the moment when I'm talking with people, when I'm sharing with them, like I care in that moment, so that apathy can't set in. But, you know, eventually I go back to my apartment and I try to go to sleep, and that sets in again. And then I wake up and I go to work, and on the drive to work, when you're sitting at work, when you're like on one of your 15-minute fucking lunch break, which is just like the exact perfect amount of time to like want to drop all your shit and leave. You know, I sit there and I fight it, and I feel like a piece of crap because I know how blessed I am to just be alive, not to mention all the other things I've had in my life. But it's lost meaning. I've lost a spark to care. And so far for me, being around people is the only thing that's been able to help that. You know, I'm God, it sounds so cliche. Like I'm an extroverted introvert. Like people have said that all the time, but you know, I really do feel that, and the things that I do by myself, I really want to do by myself. And when I want to be around other people, I really want to be around other people. The problem is the world doesn't work with my schedule. The world isn't just ready, you know, for AA meetings and writers workshops and get-togethers with friends that like they don't revolve around my schedule. So I have to find a way to connect with people, when I'm not able to in the physical world. And this video series is part of that way. I hope all of you are doing well out there. I've loved the feedback, and I've loved everything I've gotten from people watching this. And stay strong. I'll be out with another video soon. Thank you. Hey, thanks for watching. Like and subscribe if you enjoyed the content and are interested in hearing more. I'll be producing a lot more videos covering a wide range of topics. And I also have an email I'm going to list below. If you have any personal questions or comments or ideas for topics, or just something about your experience. I love any sort of feedback like that. And if you have just general stuff too, just put it in the comments below. Thanks.